Retired U.S. military intelligence officer assigned to the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, Steve Rogers, and also U.S. Army former squadron leader and co-founder and executive director of Restore Liberty, Darin Gaub. Gentlemen, welcome in. Great to see you both.
Pleasure. Thank you.
You know, my heart breaks when, we know there's American hostages and other hostages and they hear ceasefire, and every time their hopes are dashed. It looks like it will not happen. Even Russia and China today vetoing this UN resolution here. And then there's, two things I think that people are looking at here. There's the politics, and then there's also this military effort that I think that, Netanyahu is pressing on with, Darin, but it's got to be a big distraction when the biggest ally is still trying to tell you how to conduct business on the ground.
Yeah, Bianca, exactly. This is one of those cases, again, where the messaging out of Washington, D.C. is counter to the strategic interests of what Israel is trying to accomplish, and rightfully so, because everything that has been tried with Gaza, two-state solutions and peace deal, these have all not worked by intention. There's just deception in the first place. So Netanyahu knows he needs to control all of Gaza, and to have his greatest ally in Washington, D.C. messaging against their strategic aims and actually working against Israel for the most part is got to be disheartening. But, kudos to him for continuing to go and do what he has to do.
Yeah, well, he says he's willing to go it alone after meeting with Blinken. Steve, is that going to be easy for Israel? I mean, I know there's also a talk of funding and, but there's immense pressure. It seems like this administration is trying to do a regime change over in Israel.
The administration of surrender. They surrendered in Afghanistan, didn't they? And could you imagine after 9/11, if some country decided to tell us, well, be a little easy on Iraq now. We don't want to go in there and harm a lot of people. Look, Israel has every right to defend itself. Israel is our closest ally. And I've got to tell you, it's backlash, all right? It's backlash so bad on the Democrats that you're going to see, I believe, the American people answer in November. The presidency, the Senate, and the House is going to come back to the Republican Party, and we're going to have foreign policy where we back our allies and we're willing to destroy our enemies, as it should be.
As it should be. Listen, there's this breaking story in Russia that sounds like it's getting some new updates here. There's 40 dead. There is 100 injured. A concert hall, very famous rock band, was playing here. This comes days after Putin, won re-election. Again, we put air quotes on that. But it also comes after the U.S. Embassy had warned Americans, if there were any over there, to be cautious. These folks, the gunmen were just spraying bullets down. Terrible tragedy. We're sure there are people there trying to enjoy a concert. They tossed explosives. What do you think this may be about? Is this just a tragedy outside of anything, or is this maybe a political type of attack on a soft target in Moscow?
Bianca, it could be either one. I mean, we've been following this for a few hours now with some of the initial reports I got earlier in the morning here. And first thought was, one, that it is a counter-Putin effort to try to tarnish his reputation or just to create violence and to bring attention. But on the other hand is also the fact that this could be used as a unifying effort. And this is a worst-case scenario. It could be used as a unifying effort
Ukraine.
To show Russia's under attack.
I have 30 seconds, Steve. What's your read on this with all your expertise?
Well, look, I agree with my colleague who just spoke, but I lean more towards the possibility of Ukraine having its fingerprints on this. Look, they're looking to take the war to Russia, and this may be part and parcel of just doing that.
There is some talk of that, and Russia already putting out some warning that if they find they're behind it, more to come. Guys, thank you so much, Darin, Steve. Appreciate your time on a Friday.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Great analysis on